So, my name is Stan Dodson, and my family and I have been attending Wesley for quite some time. My wife is actually the secretary here at Wesley. Together we have our oldest son Caleb, who's 12, and our youngest daughter Hannah, who is 9. And, I think about the over 20 years that Wesley has been a part of our life and how much Wesley has given back to us. My wife and I met each other here, and it's been a really big part of our life. And as I said earlier, my wife is the secretary. It's just been an amazing experience through over 2 decades. I'm an art teacher at a high school, and I'm also a practicing artist. So I've always been gifted in kind of the creative side. My parents really allowed me a lot of latitude and seeking out new lenses to see ordinary things. And I think that's what has given me the platform to really connect to Vacation Bible School. I like to provide a new lens for the students to see these wonderful stories that we all know are on our heart come to life in a really relevant and impactful, meaningful way. Being an artist and having that creative eye is really just a powerful tool that I look to utilize in ways that can, bless others. I love art because it is the visual voice for the words that we sometimes can't speak. It's the resonating factor of the power of text in a visual. And sometimes we're all not really blessed with the gift of talking or speaking, and we want to tell a story. We want to open a new door, and art is that powerful tool that we can utilize to talk to someone, to speak to them, and allow them to look inside us. When I look back over the over 20 years and that day that I became a member, and you think about the time and your talents and your gifts, and you don't necessarily think the first thing that comes to mind is like, I can't wait to be a witness. That's not necessarily the very first thing that comes to mind, but Wesley has certainly laid upon my heart amazing opportunities for me to serve my community, and in particular the young students at Wesley. When I think about the opportunities that I've had to serve as a witness, one particular instance that comes to mind is Vacation Bible School. My sister and I have been serving as storytellers for well over 10 years. And I think it's really amazing the power that a story has. Stories really resonate in our life. Stories connect us to our past, and they link us to our future. But the really amazing thing about the stories that we bring to life is that it's the breath of life. It's the essence of everything, that these aren't just legends that we're recreating for these students, that we're telling them about the love of Jesus, and that we're a witness to these kids through these recreated stories. And, I've been blessed to have a creative essence to me. So I'm very imaginative in the worlds that we're able to create for these students. And I think that it makes an impact on them in the way that, it's relevant to these young kids, that they can walk away. And if just for a moment they felt like, that space that those storytellers created for us really helped me think about the love that Jesus has for us, the love that Wesley has for us. And I can't wait to tell my friends, like, hey, you gotta come to Vacation Bible School. And I think that there's a place for everyone to serve in some capacity. And maybe that place is Vacation Bible School. But perhaps it's some other place that you're not realizing that, you too can be a witness. My personal expression of art allows me an opportunity to really act as a witness, and so that God ordained my steps. I am a high school art teacher, and both of my parents were lifelong educators. My sister's an educator. But growing up, I knew the one thing that I didn't want to do was be a teacher. And God said, yes, you do. And it was through that I knew that he ordained all that I had to do with art. And through my work with students in the school, through my work with Vacation Bible School, I know that he's ordered all of my work. I know that he orders all of the imaginative and creative ways that we look at and utilize visual discovery. And, I know that that's just an extension of myself. And what better way to apply an applicable, relevant connection to people is to use our talents in a way that will glorify him and connect to others so that they too can now take something that might resonate in their heart and pass it on to others. And I think that's the amazing, powerful thing about being a witness, that it's not always about knocking on someone's door or going up to someone in the street. That a witness is sometimes the steps that we take in life, that they're manifested through the very small acts of love, of teaching, of giving. The powerful thing about, listening to God and discerning what he wants us to do in our lives is that, he reveals himself. And sometimes that revelation is in really small, everyday, ordinary things. And other times it's in really powerful, overwhelming things. The lightning struck, the ahas. And I have seen, those fingerprints of God in my life once I realized, I should be a teacher. This is clearly a path that I'm supposed to follow. In validation through a multitude of ways, whether it's the personal relationships that I've been able to develop with students and the rapport that I've built with the community in which I've worked, or the large-scale projects that we're able to implement outside of the school walls that thus gets the community involved and other stakeholders involved. Those are really powerful, affirming things that that God is in those moments. There's other professional development opportunities that I've had that have just laid themselves in front of me that I would have never encountered if I haven't discerned some of the things that God had laid out for me. And so I'm really thankful for the opportunity to utilize my talent, my skills, my time in a way that also connects to the power that visual art has. So I was able to really marry something I was passionate about, which was art, to something that God gifted me in, which was teaching, and kind of put those two together to be, a witness in all aspects of my life outside of Wesley, my life in the community, that, we're a reflection of our faith all the time. And so we don't often think that we're witnesses and that we're being a witness, but in all things that we're witnessing in some capacity. And I think that's a really powerful seed to plant to others, is our faith and our connection to Christ. I believe that sometimes just doing what God has called you to do is sometimes a reflection of our faith, in that you're listening to God and that you're following his commandments for your life, and you're discerning, the powerful will that he has laid out for you. We are all free thinkers, and we have lots of choices involved in our life. But God's always wanting us to listen to him. And there's power in our text of our Bible. There's power in our prayer. There's power in the connections that we have with other people. So I think that's always been kind of a life-affirming thing, to know that, God is really behind a lot of the choices that I've made in my life. And, it's through those continual threads that he connects. When I came to Wesley more than 22 years ago, I joined a single adult ministry. And, from that rafting trip that we all went on, and, I met my wife, Michelle, and we just recently celebrated our 19th anniversary. And God also brought Michelle here to Wesley almost 2 decades ago now. And so, Wesley's been such an important part of our life. And, we don't think of it as ministry, but certainly our life is a reflection of ministry. The work that we do is a reflection as a witness. You know, it's interesting that at times, sometimes our passions can meet a need in the world, and there's no better testimony to that than when I'm doing a storytelling event with my sister at Vacation Bible School. You know, we're there serving the purpose of giving the story and breathing life into this text and having it really resonate with these children. But there definitely is an amazing byproduct. You know, I'm teaching these kids, but I am thus the recipient of so much from them. Probably, I feel like sometimes even far greater than what I'm giving, because I leave there, you know, filled to capacity with, you know, love and endurance, knowing that, you know, I had this opportunity to tell that entire room of students about the love that Christ has for us and the faith that we have as an opportunity in our life. And I think there's no greater blessing than to know that you are the hands and feet of Christ, and that you can watch the fulfillment that students have through the joy of being at Vacation Bible School, through the pleasure of being with their friends, through that amazing moment when they're in the storytelling rooms. But it really is a reciprocal kind of relationship that we have with these kids, that they give us so much back through those moments that we're able to spend together for just 5 days. And to see them experience that word coming to life, that story modeled for them. And, you know, as a repeat storyteller through many years, you see them again, and they're growing, not just in their stature, but they're growing in their faith. And what an amazing thing to know that you were part of that nurturing of that seed, that somewhere along the line, the seed was planted, but it has to be cared for, it has to be nurtured, it has to be cultivated. And those 5 days with all those amazing Vacation Bible School workers and volunteers and students, we help cultivate, we help nurture, and we help witness in all of those opportunities.